All right, I'm joined by Bill Reynolds, Caddell Reynolds. Thanks for taking the time to visit with us today.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So I'm curious about things that people need to be prepared for when driving. Can you shed some light on that?
Well, these are kind of crazy times. There's so many wrecks right now, it's unbelievable. So it brings to mind that, a lot of times we kind of take it for granted that we're going to get from point A to point B without having something go on.
Sure.
So, kind of back when you were young and your dad sat you down and said, hey, we need a little emergency kit. You need to have a flashlight, some batteries, you need a spare charger for your cell phone, just some basic things. One of the things that I like to see people carry is a little orange triangle. Because if you get broke down on the road and you put that orange triangle behind your car, that's going to let people know there's something going on.
Yeah.
It's going to give them notice. And try to back that up 100 feet. Now, one thing you shouldn't do, and I tell my kids, especially my girls,
okay,
if you get a flat on the highway and you pull over, don't even try to change that tire. Don't get out of your car.
Interesting.
Just call a tow service, call your parents, call the police. Dial 911, say you need some help, you're stranded. Because I've represented at least 5 people on I-49, all of them men trying to change a tire and got hit by a car.
That's absolutely a great tip. I love the orange triangle. Back it up 100 feet. Call if you need assistance. Those are all great tips when you're being prepared for things that could happen when you're on the road. Now let's talk about maybe some things that could happen when you're at home. So, home preparedness. How do we make sure we kind of stay prepared for potential disasters that could happen?
Well, as we see these days, we're just getting more and more tornadoes in this area.
Yes.
So that's our major threat. And then for those lying in low-lying areas, if their homes are there, then we've got flooding.
Flooding, yeah.
So here we've got to have some emergency kits there. And so again, cell phone chargers. Cell phone towers may be down, so you need to have plenty of water. So good clean water, and plastic water bottles are not it. And we have cases all the time where plastic water bottles have contamination in them. Just get you a glass bottle, sterilize it, put your own water in there. You can get things that aren't disposable, and there's no sense doing all that. But blankets, water in a safe place, preferably in a shelter if you've got one, and change it out routinely. Don't leave it in there for 3 years. Just change it out. Make sure that you've got those things that you would absolutely need to stay warm and communicate with somebody.
That's great. So I know that Fort Smith had a lot of flooding in recent years,
Yes.
right? There was a huge flood that came through here. And I'm curious as to how you helped people, or what you saw during that time of people adapting to kind of deal with that unprecedented flood.
Well, and that was a tragic time. And I think the potential for that is imminent, more so today than it was then. So what we saw, the biggest need and lack of preparedness wasn't in things they could store in their home, but what they could get to if they couldn't get to their home. So, having a safety deposit box at a bank with a spare debit card, having a plan for what you're going to do economically to get to a hotel. You don't have a vehicle, who's going to be your primary contact person? Your family member or that friend? And having those phone numbers to all of your insurance companies and FEMA. If all of those things are in a safety deposit box or a location that you know is on high ground, I mean like real high ground, then that's going to help you weather that storm.
Yeah, it's so important. And speaking of that, if people do need to reach out to you for any reason, something unforeseen happens, Caddell Reynolds is statewide. How's the best way for them to locate you?
Well, CaddellReynolds.com.
Great.
If you have that ability, if you have the ability to Google us, we're listed in all of the listings, so you can contact us. We never charge for advice. We can give you some free advice, see what's going on. We try our best to help people. And if we can't help you and we feel another law firm would be better at that, we're going to send you to who we think is the best.
That is great news. Great to hear. Bill, thank you for your time and for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stay with us. We got more Good Day NWA coming up right after this.